Hello, welcome to this video as we continue building a Remind Me app with Kivy. In the previous video of this series, we designed a clean and functional interface for the list reminder item. This screen displays all the reminder events, showing key details such as the label, the days, the time, the status, and indicators whether the reminder will trigger a pop-up, play a sound, or repeat. Each of these reminder also indicates a three-dot menu that we can see here, and they provide options to update, to delete, and to change the state of the reminder. At the top, we have these filter sections and also the search bar. When a filter is applied, we can see a section dynamically appears to show the selected filter criteria, but right now they are not functional. In this video, we will bring the search and one of the filter features to life, making them fully functional. Take a look at what we will accomplish in this video. The upper section here is made up of the filters and the search bar. So if we click on the filter, for example, and we want to filter by this Thursday and also want to get for status pending, then when we go out of that filter, we can see not only this section here is dynamically created, we can also see data is filtered based on those options. And we can also search. So the thing about the search is that the search is going to search based on the data that was provided by the filter. So we can see if I look for done doesn't exist. Okay, if I look for shirt, and we can see it here. So if I do done doesn't exist. But if I click on this X button, then we can see done for the day is back, because after we clear the filter, all the data came back to the list. So we can also filter like this. Like if we say, okay, we want to search for this, and we go to the filter of course will filter based on the search. So after the filter is applied here, it also takes into consideration the search. So we can see right now we have nothing. All right, so if we clear it up, then we can see everything here is based on this search. So this is what we are going to accomplish in this video. Thank you. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and like to support the content. Code with Eno. We are still working on the list reminder item view. So we move to the source, and from the source to the view, and to the view we see the list reminder item folder. From there we can open the Python file. All right, so this reminder list filter pop-up is a pop-up that we use to filter our list reminder, and the list reminder is handled by this reminder list view. All right, so in the list reminder view, we are going to have a function that will help us to filter the data based on the filter criteria that we get from this particular class. Okay, so right here we're going to create a function. Let's call it filter reminder list, and this function is going to, or this method will take in the days, the status, the states, the alert types, and the repeat. All right, so I think all of these will be list, because we can see here they are defined as list. Okay, they are defined as list, so all of these will be list. So I can just do like this. It will be a list of string, I think. Yeah, list of string. So let me do the same thing for all these parameters. All right, so what we're going to do here is that when the filter is applied, we are going to fetch from the database. Okay, fetch from the database. Okay, so right now we don't have a database, so what we are using to replace the database is this service. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna copy this, and I will get the data like this. All right, once I have the data, because all of these, they have the same structure. Okay, the days, the status, the state, the alert type, and the repeat, they have the same structure. That is the list of string. We are going is going to make it very easy for us to apply the filter. Okay, so we are going to have a single function that we apply the filter for all of these parameters. So we are going to say for options key in. All right, so here we're going to say we have this, and we will be dealing with this. So here we say status will be gotten from the status. We say states will be gotten from the states, and the alert types gotten from the alert types. Okay, and repeat gotten from repeat. Okay, so with our for loop, we are going to call a function. Let's call it filter by. Okay, so this will be a function that will take in the data and the options and the key. All right, so options here has s, is plural because of course here it is a list of string. Okay, so the data will be recycled. Okay, so when we get the we have this first criteria, we pass it to the filter by, and the data that is returned from this filter by based on this criteria will be recycled back for the second criteria, third criteria, and so on and so forth till we have exhausted all the different criteria. Okay, so once we have everything, then we go ahead and set the serve data, okay, to be the final data. Right, so let's focus on this filter by and see how we can get this implemented. All right, so coming back to the reason why we have all of this like this, the reason why we have this for loop, okay, one of the reasons is because we can see here we made the structure of this parameter the same so that we can have a single function to filter everything. All right, and the second thing is that the reason why we have this list or this tuple is because this first item of the tuple represents this parameter, and the second item here represents how it is represented in the database. So if we take a look at how we fetch it from this function fetch data, we can see here that if we are filtering by this, we want to make sure that we handle the key days in all the data that is found, or in all the dictionary that is found in this list. Okay, so this is how days is represented in the data. This is how label is represented. This is how the status, and this is how repeat is represented. Okay, so that's why we have all of this. The first item here comes from the argument of this function or of this method, and the second item here comes from the way it is represented in the database. All right, so with that out of the way, we will have a function, okay, called filter by. So let me go just right down here, and I'm going to create this function called filter by, and this function will take in the data, and we can see data here is a list of string, okay, a list of dictionary, sorry. So we can just copy it from here, and we say this will be like this, and it takes in the options. The options basically is it's a list of string, okay, because the option comes from, sorry, it comes from where's that, it comes from here. Okay, the options is this, and the key is this. Okay, so the option is a list of string, and the key is basically a string. So if the option is actually given, because this is a list of string, if the options of days, for example, wasn't selected, then days will be empty. All right, so we want to filter only based on options that were selected. So that's why we say if options. All right, so if options, then we go ahead and create a placeholder for the filter data. So this will be a list of dictionaries still, just like the data we have here. So I'll go ahead and copy this. Okay, and this will be empty for now. And we are going to filter the data. We are going to look through the data. This is not really optimized because we should not be looping through the data like that, because if the data has, if we have thousands of item here, okay, but because we are using a hard-coded value for our database, okay, so we are going to do it directly here. But later on, once we introduce our database, we are going to filter directly from the database. Okay, so for now, we're going to say for reminder in data, and we are going to look through the option. So for option in options, all right, because an option, for example, this will be, since it is a list of string, it can be like this. So we can, our criteria, our filter can come back with Monday and let's say Saturday. Okay, so we want to filter by Monday and Saturday. So that's why we use a for loop here. Okay, so once we have that for loop, we go ahead and search. So we are going to use regular expression for this. So for that, I'm going to import it just above here. So I'm gonna say import RE. Okay, once I import that, I move down here and I say if re.search. So I want to search by this. So let me make sure I have this, then I'm gonna explain. So here we have the boundary and s percentage s, and we close the boundary here, and we are searching the option in the reminder key. All right, so once we have that, we can, if we have the result, then we go ahead and add it to the uh, if we have a match, sorry, we go ahead and add it in the results placeholder reminder, and we break. Okay, all right, so once we have all of that, then we can return the result. But if options was not given, then we return the data. Okay, so why do we have this? Okay, so this is because if we take a look at our data, for example, all right, so this is our data for the days, and let's say we are searching for Monday, all right, Monday and Saturday, all right, so we want to make sure that we search for Monday using regular expression and search for Saturday in this particular field. So this is a string, so that's why we're using the re.search. Same thing with let's say with something like the alert type. So we can see alert type has sound and pop-up in a string. So if we are searching for pop-up, then we want to make sure we search for pop-up in this string. All right, so that's the same thing. That's why we have this. Okay, so once we have that, we go ahead and return the result, or we return the data intact if the options was not given. All right, so with that, we come back to make sure our reminder list, filter reminder list is complete. All right, so we can see it is complete. All right, so in order to use this, we need to call it when the filter, okay, when the filter pop-up is dismissed, and we know already where to implement that, where it is implemented. So we can see here in this function, the dismiss function of the reminder list filter pop-up. So here we are going to make sure that we call that particular function after we have dismissed the pop-up. So just down here, we can do it just down here. Okay, but we need to have access to this particular method here. Okay, so we can see they are in different classes. Okay, so we can do it easily with the apps. Okay, we get the running app, then from there we can search based on the on the ID. Okay, so let me just do it here. So here I have the app. If I get the app here from app.getRunning app, and here I can look for the ID. Okay, so it will be very easy to look for the ID. First thing first, we are going to get the root. So we're going to get a root. So with app.root, it will lead us to the base.kivy. All right, so let me take a look at that. So this is the base.kivy, and we can see all of these tabs, they have the ID. So here we are dealing with the list reminder item ID that takes us to the list reminder item, and here we're gonna say root dot this, and from there this will take us to the list reminder Kivy. And the list reminder Kivy, now we can take a look at the ID that that is responsible for listing the different reminder items. So we can see this is it here. So this is the ID here. Okay, so the ID is linked to this reminder list view, which is linked to this particular class that has our where is it, the class, to this class that has our function filter reminder list. Okay, so with that we can now go ahead and do this, and from there we can have access to our method. Okay, so we call the method here. Okay, with that we can now pass in all the different attributes. So serve.this, and after this, what does it take? It takes let me see, this status state, I think serve.alert types, and serve.repeat. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's run it. All right, so we will come here and we say we are looking for Thursday and Saturday, for example, and we're looking for pending, where we dismiss it. All right, so we have an error. So this particular ID is not exposed. All right, so we come back to our list reminder Kivy, and we can see this ID is not exposed. So we need to expose it at the top of this particular list reminder item. Okay, so we come here, we do it just like we did for the reminder list box. So we go ahead and expose it like this. Okay, so once that is exposed, we run it again. All right, so we see, let's try, I'm looking for Thursday, Saturday, and let's say pending. All right, so we can see it has filtered the data based on the criteria that was given. All right, so the next one we're going to do is to try to remove the filter. Okay, so we have two ways by which we can remove this filter: by clicking on this button, or by going back to this filter loop and unselecting everything here. Okay, so once we unselect everything here, okay, we should have everything removed. Okay, but we can see the data is not restored. All right, so, and the same thing happens here if we do like this. Okay, and if we click on this X button, okay, it is removed but the data is not restored. So let's see how we can work on that. So if we take a look closely at our code, we'll see that we have a remove filter function already. So let me go ahead, I think remove filter, this is it here. So the remove filter is applied when we dismiss and we don't select anything from the pop-up, okay, from the pop-up filter. And it is also implemented where we have the X button, so we can see it at this level here. So the filter grid layout, these clear filters is the function, or is the method that is triggered when we press that X button. So here we're going to make sure we apply the filter again, but this time without any data. Okay, without any data, so that it restores back the original data. So for that, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to copy what we have already, and without repeating myself. So this is what we have here. So I can copy this and move to this remove filter just here. I don't need this one again. I have it already. And let me just make sure the indentation is right. Okay, so Now here we can see what I want to do is that I want to call this filter reminder list, but without any parameter. So I want to call it like this. All right, without any parameter. Okay, so that it will not filter. What it will do is that it will just restore the data, okay, from the database. So for me to have these methods to take no parameter, we need to set some default values just above here. So if we go back to that function or to that method, we can see it here. So we are going to set some default values here. So we can say this will be either a list of string or none, and the default will be none. So I'm going to do the same thing for all of these parameters. So yeah, and yeah. Okay. All right, so with that, we can see, let's go ahead and test it again. So if we come here and we filter by this, and the first thing is that I want to go back to the filter and remove it here. So I can see restored back the data. And if I do it again like this, let me say this, okay, we have nothing based on this criteria. But if I click on this X button, it's going to restore back the data. Nice. So next, let's see how we can handle the search. So right now we can see the search does not affect the data. Okay, so the search is handled by this search bar or this search input. Okay, and it is found if we go to our Kivy language file, we can have it somewhere there. So we can see yeah. Okay, so we can search for it using this magnify icon. Okay, so this is the field that handles the search. So we want to make sure that we respond to this on text event by calling a function that is going to filter or that is going to search the database based on the data that we have given to this text field. Okay, so for that we will come back to our Python file, and we can call that method. We can call the method directly from where this field is defined. We can see the parent of this field is directly the list reminder item. Okay, so we don't need to do any gymnastic here. So we can go to the list reminder item and have our function there. So let's call it search reminder. Okay, let's have the method here, search reminder, and it's going to get the data from the database. Again, we are going to replace this. For now, we are using the service fetch data. So once we fetch the data, we want to make sure that we get the item or we get the value that was input in this search bar. So we can see if we do this, okay, we need to get this value here and compare it or search this value in the database. All right, so for that I'm going to introduce an ID here so that it can help me to easily get access to this. So I'm going to call it search input, and I'm going to expose this. So I'm going to move right at the top here. I'm going to expose it here. So once that is exposed, I come back to this come back to this, and I can either do like this, okay, add it here so that I can have access to it directly, or I use the app. Okay, I use the apps get running app. Okay, so there's no need to use the app get running app. Okay, so because this is defined at the top here, I can easily go ahead and have it here. Okay, and say this will be an object property. So now we have the object property already imported here. So this will be an object property here. Okay, so once we have that, we now have access to this, okay, to this particular we now have access to let me see, we now have access to this field. Okay, so let's go to our function or to our method again, and we say search text. The search text will be equal to this dot text. So once we have the text there, we can define a placeholder result, and we say if there was a search, okay, if there was a search in that search bar, then we want to look through the data. So for reminder in data, and here we're gonna use our regular expression again. So we're gonna say if re.search, and we say search text. We're gonna use the lowercase, all right, so that even if someone use uppercase, it's not going to affect our search. So here we want to look at the label. Okay, we are searching based on the label because our database, for example, let's say if we take a look at our database, so let me just go ahead and check this first data. Okay, so we are searching based on this label. All right, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it again, lower. Okay, if the search returns something, then we want to go ahead and add it to our results, append to the result. Okay, so once the search is over, then we can go ahead and replace the data. Okay, so we want to make sure we replace the data that is found in the reminder list view. Okay, this is a recycled view, meaning that if the data here changes, then our list width will change as well automatically. This will change in real time as long as this data is modified. So we want to make sure that we modify this data. So how do we get hold of this data? We are going to use the app. Okay, we can use the app get running app, or we can expose. Okay, so we can expose. I think the best thing would be to expose this guy here. So I'm gonna expose this guy. Hopefully it's already exposed. So if it is already exposed, then I can come here and just up here I can say, all right, so I'm gonna define it here, and it's gonna have the object property. Okay, so I have direct access to this. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say I want to do like this, data. So it's gonna be serve, sorry, serve.this data equals to result. If there were no search, okay, if the search was none or empty, then we want to go ahead and let's say replace the data to the data itself. Okay, the data that was fetched from this database. All right, so once we have that, we can test it. Let's move to our Kivy language file and let's look for the search input. Okay, so here we're gonna use the onText event, and we're gonna listen to this event, and once that is triggered, we're gonna call this particular method, search reminder. Okay, so the search reminder comes from the root, which is this one here. All right, so let's go ahead and try it. So here we're gonna say, okay, so there's a problem. Search input is not defined. Okay, so maybe I did it without using the serve on line 65. So let me go back to line 65, and yeah, I didn't use serve, so my bad. All right, so once we have that, we're gonna try it again, and we say done. Okay, it doesn't work. All right, so we can see here that even though when this if statement executes, okay, and even though we have set the data to be result here, we also go ahead and set it to be the original data here. So here I'm supposed to use an else statement. Okay, so that once I have that, I can go ahead and test it again. Okay, so now it works perfectly fine. Okay, so right now we the filter and the search are not linked together, meaning that if I filter right now, okay, if I filter like this, the search should be based on the filter data. Okay, so we can see done is not here. Okay, there's nothing that starts with done, but if I go ahead and type done, I can see done appears here. So it doesn't take into account the filtered values here. All right, so I want to link it now such that when we filter when we filter like this and there is anything in the search bar the filter will be applied, then a search will be applied as well in that filtered data. Same thing with the search. If values were already filtered here and I want to search, the search will be based on the filtered data. Alright, so for that to work, we'll do a few modifications. The first thing we're going to do is that we're going to move to the reminder list view. Let me put this down. And right here, we're going to set a variable that will hold the filtered data. For now, it's going to be none. Okay, it's going to hold the filtered data. All right, so anything that will be filtered will be saved here, and the search will be working on the filtered data, something like that. Okay, so at the level of the filter reminder list, once the filter has been applied, we are going to save the filter data to the filter data variable, so like this. Okay, so after the filter has been applied, okay, yeah, and before we set it to the serve.data, we are going to keep, or like let's say store that filter data in the filtered data. All right, so once we have that, we'll move now to the search reminder. So this search reminder will instead of taking the data from the database, it's going to fetch, if it's going to check if the filter data was set, and it's going to use this data instead rather than checking from the database. So right here we're gonna say yeah, if, so we're gonna have the serve.reminder list view dot filtered data if this filter data was set, else we're gonna fetch it from the database. Okay, all right, so we have something like this, and let's go ahead and test it. So let's say a filter was done here and we have something like this. All right, so if I go ahead and search for done, we can see done doesn't appear here. All right, but if I search for review, we can see review appears. So now it is using the data from the filtered values. So the next thing I want to do is to make sure that at the level of the filter, if I filter here and there's already a search, there's already a text in this search bar, then the filter will be applied and a search will be done as well. So for that, it means that I have to refactor the search reminder such that the search will be used at this level, search reminder, and also a search will be used at the level of the filter reminder list. All right, so for that, I will go ahead and have a function here, because this function will be called in two places. I'm going to call it search. Okay, it's going to take in the data that we are searching, and let me just go ahead and look at the search item and search reminder and see how we can refactor that. So at this level here, okay, so we can just copy this and see how we can modify this. Okay, so if we move at this level here and just paste it here. All right, so we can see here that we need to have access to the search value, so we can use this serve.search because this is a function, it's not a method of that particular class. So here for that, we are going to use the app gets running, so that will get the running app, and from there we're gonna say app.root, get to the root, and from there we use the list reminder item ID, and from there we can have access to the search input and extract the text. All right, so let me fix this properly. So once we have that, here I'm gonna first check if the text was if the text is present in the search. Okay, if it is present, then I'm gonna create the placeholder here, and I'm gonna loop through the reminder, and I'm going to use the regular expression to fetch it and go ahead and add it to the results list. And here, instead of setting it, I'm going to return it. So return result and here we're gonna return data instead if there was no search text, if there was no text in the search. Okay, so here I'm gonna return data. All right, so now we can go ahead and refactor our search item. So let me look for that. So yeah, after we have gotten everything, after we've gotten the data either from the filtered data or from the database, we go ahead and set the serve.reminderList.data equals to, we call inside the search on the data. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to refactor the filter reminder list such that after we have filtered the data, okay, we go ahead and search. So here I'm gonna instead search here, search like this, and pass in the data. All right, so with that we can go ahead and test it and see. So let's say we have F here. Okay, so we can see we have just two values here, and we go to the search and we say we want to search for Thursday. So the search will be based on the filter data, because after the search is applied, we have after the filter is applied, we have the search that takes place as well. So if we go ahead and cancel this, we can see now the data based on the search returns. All right, perfect. So we have this, and if I go ahead and remove this, we can see now the data is based on the filtered values. Thank you for watching this video. In our next video, we are going to integrate the database for our list reminder item, and we are going to handle filtering by calendar and also the 3-dot menu that provides option for deleting, updating, and also changing the state of a reminder item. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment in order to support the channel. Code with Eno. See you in the next video.